Welcome back, Portal Masters. It's time for another road trip. This road trip is headed in a little bit different direction than my standard road trips. I'm not taking my usual Illinois, Indiana, Tennessee path. This route is taking me through Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Texas, and eventually over to Michigan. Now, it may not be the most efficient route out there, but I do believe it was ultimately worth it. My first stop of the day was a meetup outside a local game store, Legacy Games in Rosemount, Minnesota. This meetup was with President Uwu, who you may recognize from Whatnot. They frequently hang out in my streams as well as host their own auctions. Over the past few months, they'd collected a bunch of Skylanders that they didn't need and they hadn't sold yet on Whatnot. So they decided they would sell them to me all at once in a bulk lot. We met up right around the time that Legacy Games was opening. So after making the pickup, I decided to head on into the game store and see what they had to offer. They did definitely have Skylanders. They had some figures, some portals, some games. Most of the games are priced around $7, which is very reasonable. Not something I'm going to pick up for the shop in most cases, but if you are local to this area and you want to check them out, go for it. But I couldn't spend too much time there because I had a few more stops to make today, and a few of them were meetups that were a little bit time sensitive. My next meetup took me to Altoona, Iowa, just outside of Des Moines. Here I was meeting up with Code, another community member who also hangs out in my Whatnot streams, but is also a member of the SCL Discord. In the Discord, we found out that Code had recently purchased a large lot of Skylanders, was keeping some of them for himself, but selling off a lot of them. And there was some more common stuff that, once again, not to my surprise, he was having a little bit harder time selling on eBay or the like. And so he just wanted to dump it all at once. And since I was in the area, we made arrangements to do so. After this, I made a quick pit stop at Mayhem Collectibles, or Mayhem Comics and Games, whatever you want to call them. It's a game store in Des Moines. They focus more on board games and card games, not so much video games, so I wouldn't recommend them for that. But I needed to sell off some of my bulk Lorcana cards, and I know you may be thinking it's a weird place to do that, but my sister works at this store, so I had a little contact inside, and I wanted to stop by and see her, as well as get rid of some of these cards, so I made an extra stop here. But once again, I couldn't stay long because my next meetup was the most time sensitive of them all. I was meeting up with Melissa, who, much like myself, had other places to be today, so I had to get down there as quickly as possible. I met with Melissa in Winterset, Iowa, and picked up a pretty nice set of in-box figures. Now, the boxes in this lot have definitely seen better days, but it's all from Skylanders Trap Team. And I think all of you know how tough that can be to find. We got a Walmart exclusive buddy pack of Gil Grunt and Gil Runt, and the other buddy pack including Hogwild Frino and Small Fry. We got two of the mini double packs featuring Mini Genie and Spry. We got Bop and Terabyte along with Hijinks and Iceball. There's an excellent Weeruptor and a Power Punch pet vac. Then there was this box for the Easter Bunny Earth Trap, which seems to be missing at the moment. Maybe I'll find it at the bottom of the box, but I'm thinking this might just be garbage at this point. We've got Cobra Kadabra and a legendary Deja Vu. We got a Full Blast Jet Vac and Trailblazer. We got Fizzy Frenzy Pop Fizz and Love Potion Pop Fizz. We've got Fist Bump, and we have Echo. We have Spotlight, and we have Blackout. But wait, there's more. We have Gusto and Thunderbolt. We have Lobstar and Winterfest Lobstar. We have Headrush, and we have Wallop. We've got Bushwhack and a legendary Bushwhack. We've got Crypt King and Shortcut. We got Tough Luck, Jawbreaker, and Blastermind. And to finish off this lot, we got Nightmare and Nightlight. So even if the boxes were in a little bit questionable condition, I think you can see why it was still worth the pickup. Next, I headed down to the Kansas City area where I was staying for the night. So we've already picked up some really nice stuff today from the private sales, private collections we bought, but there's still daylight, which means there's still some time to do some Skylanders hunting. So let's see if we can go find anything here in our first vintage stock location on this trip. Now, I have some mixed feelings about vintage stock. On the one hand, they are basically guaranteed to have Skylanders in the store. But on the other hand, their pricing just is all over the place. I don't quite understand it. I often find what I would consider very common figures overpriced, and then some harder to find figures relatively underpriced. And it's not like they just have everything listed at the same price, and therefore some things are above and some things below. They have everything individually priced. So I don't know where they're getting their prices from. In any case, this trip was a little bit hit or miss. During the evening of the first day and the morning of the second day, I hit up 6 different vintage stock or Entertain Mart locations. I only made purchases at half these stores. I didn't buy anything here. Not a lot of luck there, but we still got some daylight. So let's check out another vintage stock location here in the Kansas City area. At this location, I did pick up 2 items. First was this Darklight Crypt. This is one item I found that I feel they have underpriced at pretty much every location. I guess that's something I should mention, is that vintage stock pricing from location to location is generally pretty similar. So once you know which items to look for that are priced well, you can kind of just look for them at every location. Darklight Crypt is one of those items for me. The other item I picked up at this location was something I tweeted out about. It's this mystery bag. Now, I have experimented with mystery boxes before from vintage stock. I made a completely separate video about that from a few years ago. In that case, the box contained 20 figures and cost $30. So it was roughly $1.50 per figure. After I opened that box, I got comments from a few of you saying that you have also purchased those boxes from vintage stock and got very similar figures inside, which is kind of disappointing. Now, I did see some of those mystery boxes at some of the vintage stock locations I visited this time, but I decided not to pick any of them up. But this bag had me intrigued. 10 figures for $8. So that's only 80 cents per figure. So this means even if it's all starter pack figures and magic items that I sell for 99 cents, I still shouldn't come out too far behind. So I haven't opened up this bag yet. You're going to see it for the first time right alongside me. Let's see what we got. All right, here we go. First figure, Series 1 Whirlwind. I mean, honestly, we're already kind of coming out ahead. It's not a 99-cent figure. Series 1 Spyro, starter pack figure, to be expected. Series 2 Cinder, once again, starter pack, to be expected. Ooh, another Series 2 Cinder. Now, I understand it's a mystery bag, but there's something that just feels extra wrong when you include duplicates. Especially when you're only talking about 10 figures here. 10 figures, it's not that hard to not include duplicates. So I'm not a big fan of that one there. But it's the risk I took. All right, a Series 2 Lightning Rod. Not bad, not bad. Ooh, Flashwing with the wings intact. Surprising, it lasted that long. I'll take it. Ooh, but on the other hand, something that didn't quite make it. We got this here Swarm that's hanging by a thread. Yeah. Maybe it was intact when it was originally put in there, but it's definitely not anymore. So this one will have to go in my damaged bin, but it is what it is. Wow. A Punch Pop Fizz. That is actually very unexpected. I would have expected to see a standard Pop Fizz in there, but a Punch Pop Fizz, the variant, well, happily take that. I mean, that's like at least half of our value of the bag right there. Is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? Interesting. Well, Thumpback, another unexpected surprise. I mean, his anchor's intact. Looks good there. So Thumpback, that's nice. But that's it. And if I'm counting correctly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It did say 10, right? Yeah, it says 10 figures. But we got Whirlwind, Spyro, 2 Cinders, Lightning Rod, Flashwing, Punch Pop Fizz, Thumpback, and Swarm. So we actually only got 9 figures. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go back and complain about it. It's a bit shady in the business practice department if that's something they're doing on the regular, but I'm actually pretty happy with what I got. The Thumpback alone, I mean, I paid $7.99. We sell Thumpback, I think, for $7.99 in the shop. So that one was basically break even right there. Then we got the Punch Pop Fizz. There were only 3 starter pack figures in there. 3 out of the 9. So, I mean, 30%, but still, a lot of people were expecting all 10 figures to be starter pack figures, and it definitely wasn't that. There weren't magic items. I call that a huge win, honestly, for a $8 mystery bag of Skylanders. All right, it's getting late. Sun's almost down, but I think we can fit in one last vintage stock location here in Kansas City. Let's go check it out. I didn't buy anything here. Day 2. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to hit up a few more vintage stock locations before we head out of town. Well, day 2 is going to be primarily a driving day. I decided to hit a few more shops here in the Kansas City area before heading out on the road for another 8 to 10 hour drive. I got to this location very shortly after they opened, and this place was hopping. Like, there were dozens of people in the store already. I was quite shocked. But what shocked me even more is that there was somebody looking at the Skylanders even before I was. And they had already picked some stuff off the shelf and went to check out. They definitely had some good stuff in their hands. I don't know what the prices were like, but they took some of the better stuff. With that being said, though, I was still able to find a few items to purchase. We got another Darklight Crypt, found a Thump Truck and a Shield Striker, picked up 2 Life Claw Creation Crystals, and even found a Platinum Treasure Chest. On to location number 2 for the day. This is our first Entertain Mart, which is another brand owned by the same company as Vintage Stock. So I'm expecting very similar results here, but we shall see. But another stop in Overland Park, and then we'll have one more after this, a little bit further north before we head out of town. I didn't get anything here. And here we are at our final shopping location of the day. One more vintage stock location. I think this was in Shawnee or something like that. You can see it up on the screen there. But I have to get back on the road. Have to get down to Texas today to make another big pickup tomorrow. So we'll just be doing a lot of driving. But we'll see if we can make any last minute pickups here at Vintage Stock. Here we got 2 Darklight Crypts, as well as a copy of Swap Force for the Wii U and Trap Team for the Wii U. Day 3. Finally made it down to Texas to meet up with Julian and his brother Tristan. We met outside Buc-ee's in Katy, Texas. Julian had quite the collection for me, and a story that I've heard many, many times. I'm going off to college. It's time to get rid of the Skylanders. I don't have room for them in the dorm or whatever the case may be. Very familiar story. And I was happy to take them off his hands and find new homes for them. In addition to all the loose figures, he also still had a few in-box figures. We got our hands on a Birthday Bash Big Bubble Pop Fizz, along with a steel-plated Smash Hit, a Mistletoe Dive Clops, and a Nitro Stealth Stinger, Frightful Fiesta, and Fizzy Frenzy Pop Fizz. There's the combo pack of Sharkshooter Terrafin and the Shark Tank. We got a metallic green Shroom Boom and a golden Flame Slinger. There's a Halloween Fright Rider and a glow-in-the-dark Fright Rider. There's a Jade Firecracken, but there's also an E3 Hot Dog. Additionally, there's a full set of Eon's Elite figures. So this includes Gil Grunt, Ruptor, Whirlwind, Chop Chop, Spyro, Terrafin, Trigger Happy, Stealth Elf, Zook, Ghost Roaster, Voodooed, Dino Rang, Slam Bam, and Boomer. We were able to meet relatively early in the day, so I decided to head back to the Dallas-Fort Worth area and check out some movie trading company locations. In the past, Movie Trading Company has been one of my favorite spots to hunt for Skylanders. Got some time to kill this afternoon, so once again, it is time to hit up some game stores. Here in the Fort Worth area, I have Movie Trading Company, which, as you may know if you watched all my videos before, is once again the same company as Vintage Stock and Entertain Mart. I believe Vintage Stock is the parent company of all these brands, but you'll see a lot of similarities as we go through these. But Movie Trading Company in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, still owned by Vintage Stock. The figures here were very picked over. They had a few games, but ultimately I didn't get anything here. Made it to another Movie Trading Company location here in Arlington, Texas. Hoping for a little bit better luck than the last location, but we'll see what we find inside. Once again, the figures were very picked over here as well. They did have figures, but nothing for me to buy today. That being said, I didn't walk away from this location empty-handed. I was able to find one glow-in-the-dark Giants portal for the Xbox 360. So I thought all the locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area were branded as Movie Trading Company, but here I am in Irving, Texas, sitting in front of an Entertain Mart. So let's go see. It doesn't really make much difference. They're all the same store, all the same brand, all the same company, but we'll see if they have any better selection than the last couple of stops. Here's hoping. Here, the figures were very sparse as well, but I was able to pick up a few games. Picked up a copy of Swap Force for the Wii U, along with Trap Team for the Wii U, and Superchargers for the Wii U. My next location, Movie Trading Company in Dallas, Texas. This one might be my favorite location of all of them. They have a fantastic selection of Skylanders as well as other Toys to Life brands. In fact, at this location, I didn't just pick up Skylanders, but I picked up a LEGO Dimensions set as well. Now, this isn't something I normally buy, but recently I have acquired a few sealed LEGO Dimensions sets from other collections that I've bought, and I found they've sold pretty well on eBay. So I decided to pick one up here as well. We got a brand new sealed copy of the Portal 2 what is this, level pack? Is that what they're called? I think Portal 2 level pack for LEGO Dimensions. I also picked up one Traptanium portal, and then we got a bunch of figures. Naturally, I found myself another Darklight Crypt, but then we found a Pumpkin Eyebrawl and a Scarlet and Genie, the best in-game variant ever, Quick Draw Rattleshake, along with Nitro Magna Charge. We got a Nitro Freeze Blade, along with a Soda Skimmer. There was a Smolder Dash, and a Series 2 Thornhorn camo. And then I decided to take a chance on this Life Toucan Trap. So this isn't something I would normally buy at $5.99, but I have a good feeling that this is probably going to be a steamed broccoli guy, the villain variant, because based on the other traps that were there, it actually included the Tech Tiki Trap, which, if you don't know, was a trap that was exclusive to the 8-pack that also came with Steamed Broccoli Guy. So if you ever see a Tech Tiki Trap along with a Life Toucan Trap, there's a good chance that this is going to be the villain variant. All right, final stop of the day. One last movie trading company in Garland, Texas. Let's see what they have, see if we can finish off strong, and get back to driving tomorrow. It's going to be a long day. So hopefully we can find something here to get us through. Here I picked up another copy of Swap Force for the Wii U. We got an Xbox One Imaginators portal, along with a Series 1 Zap and another Shield Striker. All in all, it was another fantastic day of hunting. Day 4. Those of you who are subscribed to my newsletter have already heard most of this story. I won't necessarily go into a ton of detail here, but let's just say it was a long day. I was already planning to be on the road for about 13 or 14 hours, but roughly 3, maybe 4 hours into my trip, I noticed a crack in my windshield. I don't know where it came from or when it happened, but as I drove along, I noticed this crack getting larger and larger. So I made the decision that I needed to exchange my rental car. This is not something I've ever done before. I know that they do exchange rental cars for a variety of reasons, but I didn't know how to go about doing it. I won't bore you with the details here, but let's just say after talking to about half a dozen various employees, driving to 2 different rental car locations, and ultimately wasting about 3 hours, I finally made it back on the road in a new vehicle without a crack in the windshield. So what was supposed to be a 13 or 14 hour day quickly turned into a 17-hour day, and I didn't get to my hotel room until after midnight. Day 5. Now, the Texas pickup was actually the reason I started planning this road trip, and I was fortunate enough to line up the Minnesota pickup as well as the 2 Iowa pickups along the way. So it's already been a very good trip, but about the same time I was planning this trip, I was contacted by Walter out in Michigan. And Walter started to send me some pictures of various closets and rooms in his house that had a bunch of new in-box Skylanders figures. So throughout this entire week, I had been in contact with Walter, trying to figure out exactly what he had and how much he wanted for it to see if we could make a deal. Typically, I don't like to drive out to a location, especially in a different state, without a deal done and in place. But at this point, I already had a van rented. It was getting late. It's been a long journey. I was already most of the way to Michigan, and Walter promised me that no reasonable offer will be refused. So I had a little hope, at least, that we could get a deal done. Long story short, we got a deal done. Walter has a pretty sizable new in-box collection. It's not complete by any means. It's mostly later game stuff, but in all reality, that's what most of you out there are looking for. You're looking for those Trap Team figures. You're looking for those Imaginators. Those are the things that are getting harder and harder to come by. So let's take a look at what Walter had to offer. You know what? I changed my mind. We're not going to show off that collection just yet. This trip isn't over, and I think it's time we finish that first. I had one more meetup to make on this trip. Back in Wisconsin, I met up with Caleb. Caleb had a healthy little out-of-box collection to sell me, and I was happy to make the deal. I met up with Caleb and his parents at the police station, and we made the exchange. After that, I was headed to SCL Jillian's house to drop off all the loose figures that I picked up and finally make my way home. Now, if you are interested in seeing the full inbox collection that I picked up in Michigan, you can do so next week. As I was going through the boxes that I picked up on this trip, it occurred to me that this is going to be a video in and of itself. So stay tuned. Next week, it's coming. The unboxing, not unboxing, we'll keep them in the box, but the unveiling of the complete boxed collection that I purchased in Michigan. I hope to see you there.